Hello and welcome once again to this online session in the subject of signals and systems. Currently we are discussing convolution operation in context with linear time invariant system. In the last class we looked at different examples on convolution, particularly for discrete time systems and signals. In this online session we would try to see different examples again on convolution, but now for continuous time systems and signals. We know that for a continuous time LTI system whose impulse response is h of t, the output y of t can be calculated for any arbitrary input using convolution integral whose formula is given as shown here. Y of t is equal to tau from minus infinity to infinity x of tau h of t minus tau beta. So we would try to use this relation to find the output of LTI system for the given input and the impulse response. Let us take the first example. As per the problem statement, impulse response of a continuous time system is given as follows. Find the step response of the system. And we are given with impulse response as h of t is equal to e raised to power minus rt by L ut. So, the question says that for a continuous time system, the impulse response is available. We are supposed to find the step response. We understand what we mean by a step response. Response is the output of the system, and when I say step response, it means that the output of the system when the input is step. So the question gives us idea about, or so the question describes both the impulse response as well as the input of the system, which is expected to be the step input. So in short, we are given with x of t and we are given with h of t, and we are supposed to find the output y of t of the system. So let us start solving this example formally. Let us say that we have an LTI system whose h of t impulse response is given to me. If you try to recollect your fundamentals of circuits and networks or circuit analysis, then if I consider this capital R to be resistance and capital L to be inductance, this typically is an impulse response of an RL circuit. Anyways, for this h of t, where R and L are constants, we are supposed to find the step response of the system. It means that we are supposed to find the output when the input is step. So my x of t is also defined, which becomes equal to ut. Now we know that as per convolution formula for continuous time systems, y of t is x of t convolved with h of t, which by definition is defined as integral tau from minus infinity to plus infinity x of tau h of t minus tau beta. The approach for solving this convolution would primarily be similar to the approach that we have used in solving examples in discrete time systems. That is, we try to work in three steps. Given x of t and h of t, as a first step we try to find the expression of x of tau, which is not difficult as we have to simply substitute t by tau. Same way, given from the expression of h of t, our second step would be to calculate the expression of h of t minus tau. And from the expression of x of tau and h of t minus tau, we would try to look in the third step whether we can change the limits of integration or not. If we are able to change the limits of integration, we would do so, and then we would evaluate the integration. So as a first step, let us try to calculate the expression of x of tau. We know that x of t is equal to ut, which is a unit step signal, which is equal to 1 for t greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for t less than 0. We can express x of tau as u of tau, whose value would be equal to 1 for tau greater than or equal to 0 and it would be 0 for tau less than 0. Now from this expression of x of tau, it becomes clear that this term x of tau is 0 for tau less than 0. So when you are integrating this convolution relation with respect to tau, where the limit of tau is from minus infinity to plus infinity, we can say that we can easily change the lower limits of this integration to tau equal to 0 instead of tau equal to minus infinity, because for all negative values of tau, this term is 0. Yes? So the lower limits in this relation can be changed to tau equal to 0. Now the second part is to obtain the expression of h of t minus tau. So we are given with h of t is equal to e raised to power minus rt by l ut. So h of t minus tau would be equal to e raised to power minus rt minus tau by l ut minus tau. What we have done is simply substituted t with the term t minus tau. Now how we can express this? We can write this as e raised to power minus rt minus tau by l into 1. We are trying to define u of t minus tau. U of t minus tau would be equal to 1 for t minus tau greater than or equal to 0, and it would be 0 for t minus tau less than 0. So when u of t is equal to 1, h of t minus tau would simply remain this expression, which is e raised to power minus rt minus tau by l. This would happen for t minus tau greater than or equal to 0, that is tau less than or equal to t. And it would be 0 for t minus tau less than 0, that is tau greater than t. Yes? So now if we see this, then in this expression h of t minus tau, the term becomes 0 for tau greater than t. That is, when we are integrating it with respect to tau from minus infinity to plus infinity, we understand that we actually don't need to go up to plus infinity, because h of t minus tau becomes 0 for tau greater than t. And hence, we can say that the upper limit in the 1 can be changed to tau equal to t. Yes? So, with the expression of x of tau, h of t minus tau, and the change in the limits, we can express y of t now as integration tau from 0 to t, x of tau, h of t minus tau. We have changed the limits. The lower limit has been changed to 0 and the upper limit has been changed to t. Now what is the expression of x of tau? X of tau is equal to 1. And what is the expression of h of t minus tau? H of t minus tau is e raised to power minus rt minus tau by l. So let us try to substitute this. So this would give us this expression. Now we are supposed to integrate this relation. If we actually try to see, then in this relation, which is e raised to power minus rt minus tau by l, the expression can actually be written in a simplified form as this: e raised to power minus e raised to power minus r t by l into e raised to power r tau by l. If you actually see, e raised to power a plus b is nothing but e raised to power a multiplied by e raised to power b. So same way, the power of the exponential has been separated in two different terms. The reason for doing this is that we are integrating it with respect to tau. So the term which is in form of t becomes independent of integration. It means that it becomes constant for this integration and hence it can be taken out. So what I have done is I have taken e raised to power minus rt by l out, and my integration now simply remains e raised to power r tau by l beta, which is not difficult to integrate. Integration e raised to power ax dx is nothing but e raised to power ax by a. So what we would have would be integration of e raised to power r tau by L would be e raised to power r tau by L divided by r by L. The limits goes from 0 to t. This e raised to power minus rt by L comes as it is as a multiplying factor to this integration. Now let us substitute the limits here. So we would have e raised to power minus rt by L coming as it is. This r by L in the denominator is written as L by r, and now I substitute the limits of tau. Upper limit is t, lower limit is 0. So the first term that I would have would be e raised to power r t by L minus e raised to power 0. E raised to power 0 becomes equal to 1. So now if I multiply this term inside this bracket, I would have e raised to power minus rt by L, e raised to power plus rt by L. So both the terms would cancel one another, resulting into 1 minus 1 into e raised to power minus rt by L. So here we would have e raised to power minus rt by L. So the final answer would be y of t would be equal to L by r, 1 minus e raised to power minus rt by L. And we understand that the span of x is basically from 0 to infinity because it is u of t. The span of h of t is also from 0 to infinity. And hence, the span of y of t should also be from 0 to infinity. It means that y of t would be equal to L by r, 1 minus e raised to power minus rt by L for t greater than or equal to 0. And y of t would be 0 for t less than 0. So, in this example, using the relation of convolution, we have calculated the output of the system for the input to be step. Now before we move on to the next example, let us try to revisit this problem statement that we have discussed here by using the relation of convolution with some different context. Say we are given with an LTI system and its impulse response, and we are asked to find the step response. Now, we have discussed earlier when we were discussing signals that impulse and step, these signals are related with one another in terms of integration and differentiation. That is, we know that integration of an impulse response is integration of an impulse signal is equal to step signal. Now, if we try to use this knowledge for solving this example, then we can actually solve this example without using the concept of convolution. That is, what is given to us, let us try to think. What is given to us is the output of the system when the input to the system is delta t. That is, when the input is impulse, the output of the system is known. And what is asked is that if the input is step, what would be the output of the system? Now we know that step signal is integration of impulse signal. The system is LTI, and hence the step response, that is output of the system when the input is step, should also be integration of the output of the system when the input is impulse. That is, step response should be integration of impulse response. Why? Because step input is nothing but integration of impulse input. So step response should also be integration of impulse response because my system is LTI system. So the same result, that is the same expression of yt that we had obtained earlier using convolution, can also be obtained here by simply integrating the impulse response from 0 to t. That is, if I integrate this impulse response from 0 to t, I would again get the same expression that we have derived in the previous slide. So this is just an addition to our understanding, and we are trying to relate it with something that we have already studied. Anyways, let us try to move on with more examples on convolution, and let us try to take this next example. In this example, x of t and h of t is given to us, and we are supposed to find y of t as convolution of x of t and h of t. X of t here is e raised to power minus 3t ut, and h of t is u of t minus 1. We know that the convolution relation y of t is defined as integration tau from minus infinity to infinity x of tau h of t minus tau. As we did earlier, our approach would remain same. We would first try to get the expression of x of tau, then we would try to get the expression of t minus tau, h of t minus tau, and we would try to see whether the limits can be changed, and if so, we would change the limits and do the integration. So, x of t is e raised to power minus 3t ut, which can be expressed as e raised to power minus 3t for t greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for t less than 0 because of this step signal. Then x of tau can be expressed simply by replacing t by tau. So x of tau would be e raised to power minus 3 tau u tau, which would be equal to e raised to power minus 3 tau for tau greater than or equal to 0 and 0 for tau less than 0. Now from the expression of tau that we have, we can immediately identify that because x of tau is present here and x of tau is 0 for tau less than 0, there is no need of calculating this integral from minus infinity. Instead, we can change the limits of tau equal to minus infinity to tau equal to 0. Same way, we can also get the expression of h of t minus tau. H of t is equal to u of t minus 1. So h of t minus tau would simply be substituting t by t minus tau. So we would get u of t minus tau minus 1. And how we can define this? This would be equal to 1 for t minus tau minus 1 greater than or equal to 0. If I take tau on this side, then this would give me tau less than or equal to t minus 1. Similarly, it would be 0 for tau greater than t minus 1. Again, from the expression of h of t minus tau, we find that h of t minus tau, it means that this term is 0 for tau greater than t minus tau. So, again there is no point of integrating this up to plus infinity. Why? Because for all values of tau greater than t minus 1, this term is 0. So we can say that the upper limit of the integration now can be changed to tau equal to t minus 1 instead of infinity. So, now we can express the output y of t as integration tau from 0 to t minus 1 x of tau h of t minus tau. The lower limits has been changed because of the nature of x of tau. Upper limit has been changed because of the nature of h of t minus tau. Now what is the value or what is the expression for x of tau and h of t minus tau? Then we know that x of tau is e raised to power minus 3 tau. So we have substituted e raised to power minus 3 tau. And h of t minus tau is equal to 1. So we have substituted 1. So we are supposed to simply integrate e raised to power minus 3 tau d tau, which is nothing but e raised to power minus 3 tau divided by minus 3. The limits are from 0 to t minus 1. If I substitute the limits, let us take minus 1 by 3 out. The upper limit is t minus 1. So e raised to power minus 3t minus 1 minus e raised to power 0. E raised to power 0 again would become equal to 1. If I take this minus inside, it would be 1 minus e raised to power minus 3 t minus 1. This would be the expression of y of t for t greater than or equal to 1. Whereas the value of y of t would be 0 for t less than 1. This is again not difficult to understand, because if you try to check the span of x and h, then x of t spans from 0 to infinity, h of t spans from 1 to infinity. So the span of y of t should be, let us add the lower limits and the higher limits. So 0 and 1. So h of y of t would span from 1 to infinity. So for values of t less than 1, y of t is going to be 0. This is exactly in the same line as we used to find the limits of y of n so far as discrete time systems were concerned. Yes. So I can express my y of t as 1 by 3, 1 minus e raised to power minus 3t minus tau u of t minus 1. Instead of expressing it by these two expressions, we can simply express y of t in this form. Yes. If required, you can take a pause and you can go through the examples step by step. You can calculate the things by your own, and it would give you the confidence about understanding convolution operation in continuous time domain. This is it for the online session. We would meet with more examples in the next session. Thank you.